Hey guys, today I want to show you my top 2 Barbarian builds for Season 1. For me personally, Whirlwind did not make the cut as its damage is too inconsistent in tier 70 plus Nightmare dungeons. I feel like I tend to die more and bosses take forever because the single target's pretty low. Now both the builds I'm showcasing here are much better in terms of consistency and single target damage capabilities, while maintaining good clear speed. Now Season 1 is going to have interesting combos as the primary seasonal addition to the game. They're adding new aspects to rings, which makes for new kind of ways to make these builds. So I will be making an update to these builds post-season launch when I figure out what are the new go-to aspects. But for the time being, I will be swapping between these two builds to level and get started. Today I'm showcasing endgame builds for Hoda and Double Swing. I will be adding leveling links down below, but I wanted to show you guys the endgame versions of these builds as you will be spending most of the time playing in the endgame. Now these builds are good for pushing keys. I've reached tier 80 keystones and I'm sure they can go much higher. So yeah, let's get right to it and let's start off with Hoda. So before I break down the gear, I do want to mention that the way I've set up my character is to minimize the changes required to swap between both builds. I find myself enjoying the game way more when I can just swap between both builds and found this to be the perfect setup to reduce Paragon respec costs and not have to micromanage a lot of gear options and aspect choices. So yeah, majority of the respec gold cost will just be the skill tree along with just few changes to the gear and Paragon board. So for the helm, you want aspect of disobedience along with life, cooldown reduction, maximum fury, and armor. For the chest, the aspect of choice is anemia along with life and damage reduction affixes. For the gloves, the aspect of choice is berserk gripping along with ranks of Hoda, attack speed, crit, and strength. For the pants, you want the aspect of iron blood along with life and damage reduction stats. For the boots, you want aspect of Ghost Walker along with movement speed, fury cost reduction, and stats. For the amulet, you want Edgemaster's aspect along with cooldown reduction, fury cost reduction, ranks of Wallop, and any fourth useful affix. I found one with damage reduction, so I went with that. For the rings, you want the typical setup of Bold Chieftain's aspect and Echoing Fury. And you want crit chance, crit damage, resource generation, and any of the fourth useful affix in damage to close enemies, damage to slowed enemies, or vulnerable damage. For the two-hand weapons, you want aspect of retribution and aspect of ancestral force. Now, for the stats, on any of your weapons, you want crit damage, core skill damage, vulnerable damage, damage to close enemies, or strength. As for the one-hand aspects, I took aspect of limitless rage and smiting aspect. So now to move on to the Paragon board, the main thing to focus on is which glyphs to choose. So you want to use Territorial, Martial, Wrath, Undaunted, Exploit, and Imbiber. And the legendary node to pick up is Warbringer. I can link the Paragon tree down below if requested for the exact pathing. So now let's move on to the skill section of the tree. You put 1 point into Lunging Strike and Enhanced Lunging Strike to unlock your core skill section. You max out Hoda and go into Furious Hoda. You max out Pressure Point. You put 1 point into Rallying Cry and go into Tactical Rallying Cry. 1 point into Challenging Shout and go into Tactical Challenging Shout. You put 1 point into Warcry and go into Mighty Warcry. Because you're using triple shouts, you max out all the passives that buff them. You put 1 point into Outburst and Tough as Nails to help spread bleeds to enemies that attack you. You max out Aggressive Resistance and Prolific Fury. You also max out Pit Fighter and No Mercy. You put 1 point into Hamstring to proc No Mercy. You pick up Ratha the Berserker as your ultimate and Unbridled Rage as your key passive. You max out Wallop, Heavy Handed, and Concussion. So the way the build works is because you're using your two-hand mace, you have a chance to stun with Concussion along with your aspect of Anemia, and that helps you do more damage to stunned enemies with the aspect of Retribution. Now, because you have plus ranks of Wallop, as you can see, I have 6 ranks of Wallop, which gives me another 15% more damage to stunned or vulnerable enemies. Now I'm going to show you guys some gameplay footage of this build to give you guys an idea of how it is late game. This footage is of a tier 77-ish Nightmare Dungeon, so I hope you guys enjoy it. And then I'm going to move on to my second build. So now let's move on to the changes in the skill tree and Paragon tree. In the skill tree, you remove the points from Hoda and you go into Double Swing. And then you go into Violent Double Swing, which helps you get vulnerable onto enemies, so you can remove points from Pressure Point. This build revolves around having 2 shouts instead of 3, so you maintain Rallying Cry and Challenging Shout, and you can remove the points from Warcry and put them into Ground Stomp. Because you got 3 points from Pressure Point, you can pick up the points out here to add a level of tankiness to your build. You still have the Outburst Tough as Nails combo to help spread your bleeds onto enemies that are attacking you. You also still have all the passives that buff your shouts, as you're still using 2 of them. You still want to max out Aggressive Resistance and Prolific Fury. You still want to have the No Mercy Hamstring combo. You're also using Wrath of the Berserker with this build and Unbridled Rage. The only changes here will be removing the points from Heavy-Handed and going into Duelist, as you go from 2-hander to 1-hand playstyle. As for the Paragon tree, it's pretty much the same. You use the same glyphs. You only remove the points from Maximum Fury out here, as your build doesn't remain that high uptime with, on Max Fury, and you don't use Limitless Rage anymore. And you put those points into the extra crit damage nodes out here. Now if you guys want the exact pathing again, please let me know down in the comments below. But the glyphs are pretty much the same, so it's pretty easy to follow. As you can see, I've only swapped like 15 skill points, like 10 Paragon points, 4 items, and my build can be swapped like with less gold cost and pretty quick as well. So yeah, if you guys, I am going to be showing you guys some gameplay footage now, and please like and subscribe. I would appreciate that. I am going to make more videos. I am going to make a farming build next. I am also going to be making my Necromancer build videos soon. So yeah, I have more content to come soon as season 1 approaches, and I will keep pumping out content post that as well. So yeah guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.